Hello, this is Rob from Rims Models. This is my 9th update of the amusing hobby Ferdinand. So before we start, I say a big thank you to all my subscribers. All your comments, really do appreciate them all. So here we're making a start on the crane. These are the wheels, all painted separate. The actual wheel bit is the XF59 and the tyre bit is the XF85. So these are only dry fitted. You don't need to glue these because the fit's excellent. But my next update after this one will actually be all to do with the crane. I'll show you how I got the end result with that. I'm just showing you this little bit. Like I said, it's all dry fitted, no need to glue. Right, what we're doing now, we're actually going to do some chipping now. Now these parts on chipping go on the clear parts, so I didn't bother doing the air spray chipping because there wasn't enough, and I've painted them exactly the same colours, the XF59 and the XF65. Now these will have a couple of days to dry before I glue the parts on, and what I'll do, I shall weather them all first and then glue them. So what I'm doing here, I've got the Gorilla Glue, the clear one, and the good thing about this is when it dries it doesn't fog your glass up. It's really good stuff actually. Takes a bit of time to dry, so what I do before I finish for the night, I'll just glue the parts on and then leave them overnight. But any kit I build with clear parts like this is where I use the Gorilla Glue. But once you've glued them on, just leave them, because you could pick it up in an hour's time and they could still move. You need to leave them overnight really. But once it's gone, you can't move them. Now in this update I'm doing now, I actually finished the Ferdinand, but I'll do the final reveal on a separate video. Same with the crane. I'll do the crane update separate, and then I'll do the final reveal of the two together then. But what I've done as well, I'll clean the clear parts. I'll just run them under the tap and clean them. I should have wore gloves for this really, because I do leave some fingerprints. Right, now here, these 4 oil brushes using here are streaking oil brushes, and all I'm done, I'm using them straight out the bottle. I've done nothing to them, no thin, done nothing, and I'm actually going to do some streaking now. So all I do is work them way along with the different colours, mixing the different colours in. But a lot of this will be covered up when you do the pigments. but they're really nice to work with as well. You can use them straight out the bottle, no problems. But I don't use the actual brush that comes with it because it is quite a thick brush. And you can vary the lengths of these what's the names as well, the streaking. And all that is a dry brush, there's nothing on it, and I just pull it down, and then I just slightly moisten the brush. You only want it very slight, and all I've done was just pat the excess off on a bit of paper towel, and then you'll just do your streaking in, and you take off as much as you want. It's your model, you can have how you want it. But I go around the whole tank doing this, the top part and the bottom part. But in my last update, you see me do the filter and the ping wash. So this is my next step. So now we're doing the top part of the tank there. Again, the same colours, the same four. You can use whichever colour you like. And also, you can vary the length of these streaks as well. You don't have to have them all the same length. Okay, so the same again, the brush is dry, just pull it down, always make sure you go downwards, because that's the way the rain and the water will run off. And then all I do then is just very slightly again moisten the brush. But when that, you can't actually see it, but when that dries, you can see the streaking. And I always put the decals on first before I do any weathering. So as soon as I painted it, decal on, then I can do all my filters and washes and everything else over the top of it. Well, now here I'm using the rust oil brusher, and where I've done the chipping, I'll just pick up with the oil brusher and I'll streak it down again. Just gives it a bit more interest. Again, you can make the streaks as long as you want, thin as you want, very faint. It's really, you can do what you want. But again, I'm just moistening the brush. I only want very slight thinners on it. Right, now the tracks. I was going to use the rubber band tracks, but I decided not to in the end, so I went with the plastic ones. And they are really nice, and they're workable as well. There's no ejector pin marks, and all your sprue tabs are on the end, so the clean up is easy. And the one I'm actually using here is the Migamo Dart Tracks primer. You can use this straight out the bottle, no thinning needed. And do it both sides, and move your track as well, because you might be you can get in between the tracks in. Right, now we're doing the tower cables. Exactly the same. And I've actually painted the actual wire with the Mr. Hobby metal primer. Just helps the paint stick to it. You could, if you wanted to, stick these in some burnishing fluid and do it that way. But make sure you don't, glue the plastic parts on after. Right, now I'm going to do 3 pigments here, and all I do is mix the 3 together. There's no exact amounts, I'll just add them until I like the colour. A little bit too much in there. As you can see, it does get very messy. Well, I've got my old cutting mat for this. I mean, you can use any colour you want. You can buy these already mixed if you want to use the ones ready mixed. It may do a nice range. But you'll see later on, I do use some. So all I'm doing is just mixing them together dry. Just making sure it's all mixed together. But it doesn't dry this colour, it'll dries a different colour. Right, now this is just normal tap water, and I've just put a drop of washing up liquid in it, only a bit, because it helps with the water retention then. And once you start mixing it in, it goes like a paste. And then all I'll do then, I'll just brush it all over, lay it dry, and then you can just take it off to your desired effect then. I'll show you all that in a sec. So it's all mixed, just make sure it's all mixed. Alright, so there's now, what's the name to this, just slap it on. Make sure you get it in all the corners and around all your detail. Now this is the first stage of this, what I'm doing now, so I'll do the pigments first and then I'll use the ready mix stuff. And the good thing about this, because it's only water, when it dries you can just brush it off. You could leave it on overnight and it'll still brush off. Okay, just keep pulling it around. Like I said, it does dry a lot lighter than this. Now it's up to you how much you put on, how much pigment you use. You can do just one colour or you can do 4 or 5, it's up to you how many you do. Well, a lot of this gets covered anyway. By the time the wheels are on and the tracks are on, you're not going to see a lot of that. Okay, so that's all I do both sides, and I do the underneath as well, exactly the same. Now all I've done, to speed it up, I'll just use an air dryer. And what I'm doing here now, I'm just brushing it off. I'll take it off from the middle and then leave the top bit and the bottom bit with the pigment on. But you can see how easy it comes off. Now that's the sort of effect you're trying to get. Well, you just got to be careful as well when you're handling it, because you can leave fingerprints in it. Okay, it's a really good effect. You could do them dry, you don't have to use the water. All I'm doing now, odorless thinner, and just gently put it on the pigment, and this helps seal it in. But again, you can see how it dries, how that pigment's dry there before you put the thinners on. That's what colour it dries. But this I'll leave overnight then. I don't get the air dry on it. Right, now this is the ready mix stuff. So you got the splashes, loose ground, and all I'm doing is just going around the edges, around all the detail. And I do exactly the same on the wheels, the tracks. It all has the same treatment. And then I'll get another colour then, and I'll mix it in that as well. But don't do this until you're 100% happy with your pigment, because once this dries it'll seal the pigments in. But the good thing about using the thinners is if you're not happy with it, you can just put the thinners back on and then you can take it off. You can still brush it off. Right, this is the other colour now, and this is heavy mud, and I really put this thick and heavy around the details, the corners, trying to make it look like the mud flicked up and it's just held in all the detail. You can really cake it on there, look. Just make sure you don't get it where your wheels go as well, because you'll struggle to get them on. Okay, so that's it all dry now. But all I've done off camera as well, I got my water and I just blended all the ends just to make it look like it's, you know, it hasn't got like a straight edge. You just blend it in. And this is just exactly the same again, the pigment mix on the wheels, and then I'll go over again with the two ready mixed ones. Again, I'll use the air dryer when I finished, just to help speed the drying up. Make sure you're getting it all the recesses, anywhere where the mud would congregate. And the good thing as well, if you're not happy with it, you can just brush it all off. Right, so all I'm doing now, I've just, like I said, I've just speeded the drying time up with the air dryer, and I'm just taking off now what I don't want, and all I'm doing is just leaving it in all the bolt heads and the recesses and okay, so once you're happy with your effect, you can leave it then. Now I'm going over again with the two ready mix ones, exactly the same, and all I've done this time, I'll just mix the two together on a little palette. No thinners, there's nothing, it's just straight out the bottles. Also, if you want to see me do these weathering techniques in more detail, I can do separate videos doing like a more in-depth how I do it. If it's something you're interested in, just leave it in the comments. Also, don't forget to, like I'm showing you here, don't forget to do the underneath as well, the back of the wheels and the suspension. Right, so now I'm doing exactly the same with the tracks, same mix with the pigments, the three pigments. Again, I use the hairdryer just to speed the drying time up. Right, now this is the same mix again, the two ready mix ones. I don't go too heavy with this, it's just to make it add a bit more texture to it. And just keep wiping it off the cleats. And I go around all the tracks doing this. And all I'm doing now is exactly the same. I'll do the bottom of the tracks and the underneath of the tank. All I'm doing is just filling in between the track links. That's where the mud would stick. And then again I'm coming over then with the ready mix one. So just work your way around. All I've done now is I'm doing the underneath now, on the edges, around all the details, anywhere where the mud is stick. Again, pigments first and then the ready mix one. But off camera I cover the whole of the bottom with it. Well, actually, when I do the final reveal, I'll show you. Okay, so this is the actual Ferdinand finish now. This is my final weathering stages. All I do is highlight all the cleats with the MIG ammo steel, and then I'll do the guide horns as well. And then the last update then will be the crane, and then the final reveal. So hopefully, if you like what you see, don't forget to like and subscribe, and hit that notification bell. Thank you.